Hey guys, Kobe DW here, and today I'm going to be showing you my entire collection of AEW pay-per-views on DVD and Blu-ray. The Forbidden Door ones, they have not released those, not yet at least, either on DVD or Blu-ray. Maybe those will come out at some point, hopefully in the future. But this is every single DVD and Blu-ray so far, and we'll talk about this one in a little bit. But this is every single one released so far. As you can see, I split them up into years, like year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, and year 6. And that's the one we're currently in right now as far as the existence of AEW. But we still have Full Gear, World's End, and Revolution to be made so far, and Dynasty, and all the other pay-per-views going forward. So this is what we have to deal with so far. This is every single one released from AEW so far. And I have a little table right there so I can show them individually so I don't have to do them on my bed. So I'm going to get everything organized, and I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Okay, I am back, and I'm on my little desk here, get the chroma. So first up, we have the original All-In pay-per-view from 2018. This was before AEW existed, but the reason why I included this in my collection is because they would eventually bring this pay-per-view back as a part of the AEW name. But this pay-per-view alone pretty much was what got AEW off the ground to begin with. So here we have the matches on the back, and these are pictures and highlights from the matches in the show. And here's what the actual DVD looks like. And as you can see, there's the crowd. There is a Blu-ray of this, but I got the DVD because, you know, I like to be old-fashioned. And that is the date that it took place. It took place in Chicago, and next DVD on the way. Next up is the actual first AEW show, Double or Nothing in 2019. So you have Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, the Road Brothers, the Young Bucks, and the Lucha Brothers. This took place at the MGM Grand Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are the matches on the back and the pictures, and there's Bret Hart showing the AEW World Championship. And here are what the DVDs look like. And in the background, you can see pictures of the matches and highlights from the show. And yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. And I still think this is their best Double or Nothing to date. No matter how hard they tried in the years going forward, I still think this is their most successful Double or Nothing pay-per-view. So next up, we have the All Out 2019 DVD. Now, after Double or Nothing, there was Fyter Fest and Fight for the Fallen and pay-per-view, but they didn't release those on DVD, so we're going straight to All Out. And there we have Hangman Page and Chris Jericho for the first ever World Championship match. You have Cody Rhodes and Shawn Spears, the Young Bucks, the Lucha Brothers. You have Pac and Kenny Omega, and that's the date it took place. It took place at the Now Arena in Chicago, Illinois. Well, technically Rosemont, but these are the matches, and you have the pictures of the wrestlers on the back. And here's what the DVD looks like, or DVDs really. But so yeah, you have the main show matches on the first disc, and you have the pre-show matches on the second disc. So that way they don't want to take up a lot of room on just one disc. And of course, in the background you have the pictures and highlights from the show, which is pretty cool. So yeah, pretty successful first All Out. Let's move on to the next one. Up next is the Full Gear 2019 on DVD. This is a 1-disc DVD, not a 2-disc. And here you have Chris Jericho and Cody Rhodes and John Moxley and Kenny Omega, and there's the date it took place. This took place in Baltimore, Maryland. I forgot the name of the arena, but that's where it took place, in Baltimore. Again, you have the matches on the back. You have highlights and pictures of the show. Pretty crazy. This was actually the very first AEW pay-per-view I have ever watched. And here's what the DVD looks like, and you have matches. You have the highlights of the matches in the background, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, one of the better AEW pay-per-views that they've ever done. So, yeah, I would highly recommend this. If you can find it on eBay, I would highly recommend getting this. So, let's move on to the next one. Up next is the Revolution 2020 pay-per-view on DVD, the first ever AEW Revolution pay-per-view, and the final one of the year 1 show. So you have Chris Jericho and John Moxley, you have MJF and Cody Rhodes, and you also have the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page. And of course, that's where it took place. This took place at the Wintrust Arena in Chicago, Illinois. There's the matches on the back and the pictures and highlights of the show. And here is what the actual DVD looks like. And there it is. But unlike the other ones, this is just a blank background, no pictures or highlights from the show, which is kind of weird. But yeah, there's the first Revolution pay-per-view on DVD and the end of the year 1 pay-per-view. So let's now move on to the year 2 pay-per-views. Starting off with the year 2 pay-per-views is the second annual Double or Nothing pay-per-view on DVD in 2020. There's the date it took place. You have Mike Tyson, you have the TNT Championship, you have Cody Rhodes, Lance Archer, the late great Mr. Brody Lee, you have John Moxley, you have Matt Hardy, the Elite, and the inner circle on the top left. And it says Stadium Stampede because these five and these five fought inside, back then it was called the TIA Bank Field, but now it's the Everbank Stadium. This took place in Jacksonville, Florida, because this was during the pandemic. We couldn't go anywhere, so as well as WWE shows, they had to take place in Florida. So here's the matches on the back, and here's highlights and pictures from the show, and here is what the DVDs look like. So there's the first disc, and there's the second disc. And don't know if there is any background. I can see some poker chips, so that's something. So yeah, to me, this is their weakest Double or Nothing. So we went from their strongest to their weakest Double or Nothing. It's not a terrible show, but I do think it could have been a little bit better. Let's move on to the next one. Next one in our Year 2 collection is the 2020 All Out pay-per-view on DVD. So you have Jon Moxley, you have MJF, you have Chris Jericho, Orange Cassidy, you have FTR, you have Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, you got Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida. Again, took place in Jacksonville. All the Year 2 pay-per-views took place in Jacksonville, Florida at Daly's Palace because of the pandemic. So you have the matches, the pictures, and the highlights. And here are what the disc looked like. It's a picture of Jon Moxley and MJF, which they fought for the World Championship. And, of course, in the background, you have highlights and pictures of the match. So, yeah, definitely their weakest all-out and probably their weakest pay-per-view I think they've ever done, if you're asking me. But let's move on to the next one. Moving forward, we have the Full Gear 2020 pay-per-view on DVD. I actually watched this live as well. So we have Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, who made his pay-per-view debut. You have Cody Rhodes, you have Darby Allin, you have the Young Bucks, and you have FTR. Again, took place in Jacksonville, Florida. So you have the matches and some pictures and highlights of the show. And here are what the DVDs look like. And again, you can see some pictures and highlights of the show. And yeah, these are what the DVDs look like. So I probably, other than the 2024 Full Gear, which not released on Blu-ray yet as I'm making this video, but definitely probably one of their weakest Full Gears. Still a good show, but not as good as the other ones. Let's move on. Ending Year 2, we have the Revolution 2021 pay-per-view on DVD. So you have Cody Rhodes, you have Sting, you have Ryu Mizunami, Hikaru Shida, Darby Allin, Chris Jericho, MJF, the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, and of course Kenny Omega up on top. Again, took place in Jacksonville, Florida. Here are the matches on the back, and no pictures and highlights, which is weird, and neither in the background, but these are what the DVDs look like. Definitely their weakest Revolution, in my opinion. All the other ones have been pretty great. This one was pretty weak. Not super terrible, but definitely could have been way, 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 way better, especially that crappy ending with that lame freaking explosion during the barbed wire match between Moxley and Omega. So, yeah, that could have been better, but not that bad of a show, but it's definitely their weakest Revolution. Let's move on. Entering Year 3 into the AEW pay-per-views, we have Double or Nothing 2021 on DVD. Now, this did take place in Jacksonville, but unlike the pandemic shows, this actually took place in front of a full capacity crowd, but it still took place in Jacksonville. So you have multiple wrestlers, and I'm not going to name them all because there's a lot, but you have Sting, Cody Rhodes, you have, where's Darby Allin? There he is, Cody Rhodes and Jon Moxley, MJF, Chris Jericho. You have a ton of wrestlers, and there's Kenny Omega, who was the world champion at the time. Oh, I'm running out of breath. So here's the matches on the back, and you have pictures and highlights from the show. And here's what the DVDs look like. They are poker chip DVDs, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's the third annual Double or Nothing, and pretty much the end of the pandemic era for AEW pay-per-views. So let's move on to the next one. Moving on, we got the 2021 All Out pay-per-view on DVD, and you have CM Punk, who made his return to professional wrestling after 7.5 years of being gone, as well as his AEW debut. So you also have new guys like Miro, formerly known as Rusev. You have Paul White, formerly known as The Big Show. You have Mark Henry, Sting, Darby Allin. You also have Christian Cage. So there's Kenny Omega again. You have Moxley and Eddie Kingston. My phone is on a low battery, son of a crap. So yeah, this took place at the Now Arena in Chicago, Illinois. And you have some highlights and pictures from the show. There are the matches, and here's what the DVDs look like. And you have the background of the Now Arena in Chicago, and on the DVDs you have the background of the city of Chicago, so that's pretty cool. Definitely one of their best shows. This also had the debut of Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson, which was really good. I actually have a video about it on my channel reacting to those two debuts, and this happened 3.5 years ago. This was right after I graduated from high school, so that was pretty cool. Let's move on to the next one. Moving on, we got the Full Gear 2021 pay-per-view on DVD, and the front cover is literally just Hangman Page and Kenny Omega because of their long history together. This is definitely one of their best shows that they've ever done. So you have the match list and you have highlights and pictures of the show. And here's what the DVDs look like. So you have gears and you also have more pictures and photos from the show. Definitely probably their best Full Gear pay-per-view they've ever done, especially the main event. Fantastic, a must-watch match. Must-watch. I'm talking so fast. I'm trying to get this as fast as I can. But yeah, definitely a great show. Recommend watching it. One of the best Full Gear pay-per-views they've done. Probably the best. Let's move on. Yeah. Forgot to mention that this pay-per-view took place at the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So anyway, let's move on to the next pay-per-view DVD, and that is Revolution 2022. I had to wait 2.5 years to get this because I am so lazy that I didn't buy it. But this is one of my all-time favorite pay-per-views in AEW history. So you have Jon Moxley, you have CM Punk, you have Chris Jericho, Sting, the Young Bucks. You have all types of wrestlers on there. This took place, I believe, it wasn't the Amway Center, but it was some arena in Orlando, Florida. So this is the front cover, and here is the back cover. You have the matches, pictures, and highlights from the show. And I heard a DVD fall out, so give me 1 second. Okay, I had to fix the disc 1 because it fell out, but these are what the disc look like. No background of the show, just, blue and yellow, but still pretty cool nonetheless. Definitely one of their strongest pay-per-views. This was after Cody Rhodes left. This is kind of where AEW started to go to downward spiral, but this pay-per-view was still really good, especially the MJF and CM Punk match. But that is the end of the year 3 pay-per-views. Let's move on to year number 4. All right, starting off with the year number 4 pay-per-views is Double or Nothing 2022 on DVD. So you have CM Punk, Sting, you have the Hardy Boys, which was pretty cool. You have the Young Bucks, you have all types of wrestlers. This took place at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. So there's some more wrestlers on the back. You have the match list. Very long show that they actually split the main show into 2 discs because of how freaking long it is. Sorry about that. But here's what the disc looks like, and you have some dice and other stuff. Long show, not, spectacular, but still a pretty good show nonetheless, especially on DVD. You can just, skip to matches that you want to watch rather than just watch the whole show. But that's the Double or Nothing 2022 on pay-per-view and DVD. Moving on to the next one. All right, moving on to the next one is the 2022 All Out pay-per-view on DVD. The Forbidden Door, the 3 Forbidden Door pay-per-views have not been released on DVD or Blu-ray yet, so we'll just move on to All Out. So on the front cover is literally just Jon Moxley and CM Punk. This took place at the Now Arena in Chicago, Illinois. So you have pictures of and highlights of the show, and you have other wrestlers. You have the matches on the back. And here's what the DVDs look like. Pretty cool. Long show. I don't think it was as weak as the 2020 edition, but still pretty long. Could have been a bit better, but overall, pretty solid. But this is definitely where I think AEW started to go a little bit downhill. So let's move on to the next show. Next show is the 2022 Full Gear pay-per-view on DVD, and you have Jon Moxley and MJF on the front cover. This took place in Newark, New Jersey, but I forgot what the venue name was. So you have some pictures and highlights on the show. You have the matches on the back. And here's what the DVDs look like. So you have the gears and the highlights of the show. So yeah, great show. Recommend watching it. Let's move on to the next one. Next up is AEW Revolution 2023 on DVD. So you have MJF and Bryan Danielson. You got Ricky Starks and Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley, Samoa Joe, a few other wrestlers. This took place in San Francisco, but I don't know what the venue is. So you have the matches. I do like that dragon. That is definitely a cool addition. So here's what the DVDs look like, and I believe that is the city of San Francisco. They don't have the Golden Gate Bridge, unfortunately. And I like how it says better than you because that is MJF's catchphrase, and that's him right there. So yeah, pretty cool. Definitely a great pay-per-view. Let's move on to the next one. And that is the end of the year 4 pay-per-view. Let's move on to year 5. Starting the year 5 pay-per-views, we got Double or Nothing 2023 on DVD, and this is one of the coolest front covers because it's all a bunch of colors and stuff. So you have MJF, you got a bunch of other wrestlers. This took place at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. So you have the matches on the back, you have more wrestlers, and this is what the DVD looks like. And you have the city of Las Vegas in the back, you have the T-Mobile Arena, the poker chips and whatnot. Very, very cool. So good show. I'd say it's a little bit better than the 2022 version, but yeah, this was the final one on DVD. The rest from now on are Blu-rays. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so once again, Forbidden Door is not on DVD or Blu-ray yet, so let's move on to All in London 2023. So you have MJF and Adam Cole on the front cover, and as you can see, it says the biggest event in wrestling history. No, it's not. Great show, but definitely not the biggest in history. So this took place at Wembley Stadium in London, England. So you have the matches on the back, and you have different wrestlers, and I'm hoping... Okay, good, because usually this falls out. So this is a Blu-ray, not a DVD, a Blu-ray. And PlayStation that I have, those can play Blu-rays. So you have the background of Wembley Stadium in the pictures. I'm trying so hard to make this as fast as I can because it's pretty late. But yeah, this is what the Blu-rays look like. Pretty clean. Pretty solid show overall. So let's move on to the next one. Moving on, we got All Out 2023 on Blu-ray. So you have Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley on the front. This took place at the United Center in the metropolitan area of Chicago, not the Now Arena, which is very pretty interesting. So you have the pictures and highlights on the show. Once again, you have the matches. And this is a single Blu-ray, not two. So there's the United Center, there's Chicago, and that's what the DVD looks like. Pretty cool. Definitely one of their stronger pay-per-views in recent history, so let's move on. Moving on, we got WrestleDream 2023 on Blu-ray, so you have Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr., and in the background is Antonio Inoki because AEW paid tribute to him on the 1-year anniversary of his death with this pay-per-view. And they did it again last year, and they're most likely doing it again this year. This took place in Seattle, Washington, but I forgot the venue name, so let me know in the comments below. So here's the matches and the highlights and pictures of the show. And here's what the actual Blu-ray looks like. It looks like mountains, some Van Gogh artwork. It's pretty freaking cool. So yeah, great show overall, especially the debut of Edge, now known as Cope. Pretty weird, but let's move on. Moving on, we got Full Gear 2023 on Blu-ray. So you have MJF, Jay White, Sting, Darby Allin, Edge, and you have Swerve, Ric Flair for some reason. This took place at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, California. So here's the matches and the highlights of the show on the back. And here's what the Blu-ray looks like. That is freaking cool. And there's the Kia Forum. Or is that the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum? I don't know. But that's pretty cool. The only match I've actually seen is the Hangman and Swerve match. I actually haven't seen the full show yet, but I will give it a watch sometime soon. So let me know. Was this a good show? I know who wins because of Wikipedia, but I actually haven't seen the actual matches. The only one I have seen was Swerve and Hangman. So let's move on to the next one. Next up, we got World's End 2023 on Blu-ray. So you have MJF and Samoa Joe in the front. This took place in, I believe it was Long Island, New York. Don't know what the venue was. So here's the matches and the pictures and highlights of the show. And that's what the actual Blu-ray looks like. You're in space. Now, I did hear that this was one of their worst shows. I actually haven't seen it yet. I know who wins, but I actually haven't seen the actual matches. So I'll experience that for myself. But what did you guys think of that show? Let me know in the comments. Let's move on to the next one. Moving on, we got one of my favorite pay-per-views, AEW Revolution 2024. You have just Sting, as it says Sting's last match, because this is where he retired. This took place, I believe, in Greensboro, North Carolina, at the Greensboro Coliseum. So you have the matches and the pictures of the wrestlers who were at the show and the match. So there's the Blu-ray in the city of Greensboro. Pretty cool. Very, very, very good show. I don't know if it's good as a 2022 Revolution, but it's pretty close. So let's move on to the next one. Ending the Year 5 pay-per-views is the inaugural Dynasty pay-per-view on Blu-ray that took place in April of last year. This took place in St. Louis, Missouri. Don't know the venue name, though. So you have Samoa Joe, you have Will Ospreay, Bryan Danielson, you have Swerve, Edge, a few other wrestlers. Here's the back of the Blu-ray of the matches. So you have the name of the wrestlers and the pictures of them. And here is the Blu-ray. Nice. I like that. So, yeah, this is home to arguably the greatest match in AEW history, Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson, which I did watch. Phenomenal. Let's move on to the Year 6 pay-per-views. All right, so we got four left. So there's not every single one of them is on Blu-ray yet, but these are the ones that have been released so far. So starting with Year 6, we have Double or Nothing 2024 on Blu-ray. This took place at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. So you have several other wrestlers on the front. Here's the back with the matches and the names. And here is what the Blu-ray looks like. And that's really cool. The casino machine, that is awesome. And there's the city of Vegas. Then you have I believe that's the MGM Grand. No, that's I don't know what that is. But yeah, there's MGM. So yeah, there is the Blu-ray. I've watched most of the show. I have like 3 matches to go. I did hear that the Anarch in the Arena match was crazy. The furthest I've got was Adam Copeland and Malachi Black. That's as far as I've gotten to the show. I got 3 matches left to watch, and I will be officially finished watching the show. So let's move on. Next up, we have All In 2024 on Blu-ray. So you have Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson on the front. Again, like the last All In London, it took place at the Wembley Stadium in London, England. So you have the matches on the back and the pictures of the wrestlers. And here's what the Blu-ray looks like. That is cool. Pretty eerie looking. So, yeah, this is where Bryan Danielson won the title from Swerve Strickland, which was really, really cool. So, and then you have the London Bridge, and you have Big Ben right there. Let's move on. Moving on, we got All Out 2024 on Blu-ray. This was a fantastic show. I actually just finished watching this show just a few days ago. Don't know if it's better than the 2021 or 2023 edition, but it's really close. It took place at the Now Arena in Chicago, so you have the matches on the back, and that was the main event of the show. Really, really crazy. And here is the Blu-ray itself, and you have pictures and highlights from the actual show, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, definitely had a crazy main event, and I'm really glad this is on Blu-ray. So we have one more. Let's get to the final one. And our final AEW pay-per-view on DVD/Blu-ray is WrestleDream 2024. This is the latest that they have released. They have yet to release Full Gear, World's End, and Revolution. Those will come out soon, but this is so far the furthest we have gotten into. So you have Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley, Swerve, Darby Allin. Took place in Seattle. Don't know what the venue name is. So you have the matches on the back. And here is what the Blu-ray looks like. Yeah, the mountain. I'm trying to catch my breath. I'm sorry. So there's the mountain. And so, yeah. I haven't watched the show yet. I know who wins, but I haven't watched the show yet, so I will definitely give this a watch. I'm definitely interested in this match and this match. Those are the 2 matches I'm most excited about watching this. So let me get everything organized, and I will end the video there. And there you guys go. That is the complete AEW pay-per-view, DVD, and Blu-ray collection. So I know the original All In was not an AEW show, but that is what helped AEW get off the ground. So let's take a little recap, and as you can see, it is a lot of pay-per-views, and I can see WrestleDream is the latest they released, but we still got Full Gear, World's End, and eventually Revolution, as well as all the other pay-per-views down the line. And hopefully they'll release the Forbidden Door shows either on DVD or Blu-ray, so hopefully they'll do that sometime soon. But yeah, thank you guys for enjoying this video. I hope you guys enjoy this as well, because this was pretty fun to make, but it was super long as well. So let me know, which one is your favorite AEW pay-per-view? Let me know in the comments below. Have a good night or day, wherever you guys at, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!